Hello, my name is Citlalli Vivar, and this is our work on neural network dynamics underlying the adjustment of temporal evidence weighting in perceptual decisions. During perceptual decision-making, sensory information can be accumulated using distinct strategies. This is weighting some stimulus epoch more heavily than others. This has been attributed to multiple mechanisms, like bounded accumulation, where early epochs contribute more than later ones, resulting in primacy, or leaky integration, where late epochs contribute more than early ones, resulting in recency. In a recent paper, it has been found that monkeys can flexibly adapt their weighting strategies to the stimulus statistics, meaning that the weighting dynamics are flexible, and it is not clear what mechanism can explain them. We have developed a neural network model to shed light on the potential mechanisms underlying this flexibility. For this, we use data from Alex Hock lab. The task is a typical motion discrimination task performed by two monkeys. The subjects were presented with 7 consecutive motion pulses with duration of 150 milliseconds each, and each pulse had its own coherence. The decision was made at the end of the trial with a saccade on the direction of the average motion of the trial. To capture the flexibility, they presented the stimulus for 3 conditions. For the early condition, most of the information was placed at the beginning of the trial. For the late condition, most of the information was at the end of the trial. And for the flat condition, information was placed uniformly throughout the duration of the trial. And this was presented for 5 coherences. The experimental finding shows that monkeys perform the task well, and with no difference between the conditions. However, they adapt their weighting strategy depending on the condition. For the early and the flat condition, the first 2 pulses are weighted higher, followed by a large decrease. For the late condition, the highest weight is in pulse number 5. This is the first pulse where the stimulus has the most information. Another finding is the transient effect in the time of empty activity in response to each pulse, and its unique shape when presented for the early condition. Our model consists of an extension of a 2-area neural network model. This is a firing rate model that consists of a sensory circuit that receives visual information, in this case the 7 pulses, and its model after empty, and a decision circuit that integrates information. This will be LIP or FEF. Both circuits reciprocally connected via bottom-up and top-down connectivity. Our hypothesis is that the decision circuit is responsible for the flexible temporal weighting. So we introduce a control signal that reflects this. This is the gain modulation. And we found evidence of this in the experimental data. By looking at the time to fixate as a measure of engagement, we found that the monkeys' time to fixate is shorter when they are preparing for early condition than when they are preparing for late condition. Additionally, we found a positive correlation between the time to the fixate of the firing rate of LIP. This supports the presence of a control signal in the decision circuit. Our modulation signal was set as a time-varying gain that alters the attractor dynamics of the decision circuit by accelerating or delaying the integration of the decision. And this has an impact in the temporal weighting strategy, where we can go from primacy to recency, just by modifying the duration of the modulation signal. In more detail, we use the experimental finding of the mean time to fixate to set the initial value of the modulation signal, where higher values mean higher initial engagement, and lower values mean lower initial engagement. And the length of the modulation signal reflects the stimulus statistics. This gave us a psychophysical kernel that is very similar to the experimental data, especially for the late condition. However, we are missing some primacy for the early and the flag condition. To improve this, we added the time course of empty activity as a constraint in the sensory circuit of our model. We get that our model is capable of explaining the weighting flexibility and explains the experimental results. In summary, the gain modulation to the decision circuit accounts for the flexibility in the temporal weighting strategies, and including the sensory gain as a constraint increases the primacy weighting. If you would like to know more about the effect of the top-down interaction and the choice-related activity in MT, I'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you.